Every step, every beat aligns. Gainesville groove, it's yours, it's mine. Gainesville groove, it moves, it shines. Feel the pulse in these Texas vibes. Every step, every beat.
Hi, everybody. Let's go. We'll pick up in a minute's time. Thank you for joining. Thank you, everybody. It's going to be an amazing time, folks. We have with us one of our great official here, Arlene in the house. So we're excited, folks. The economic director of Gainesville, Texas, here. We can ask all our questions. Why Gainesville? Let's go, people. We'll kick off in a minute. Let's go.
Sunrise paints the plain so bold. Gainesville whispers stories untold. Cows hum too.
Thank you, everybody. All right. Typical of what we like to do here. Let's see what part of the world you're chatting in from, what part of Texas, what part of the US you're in from. Let's see. Dallas, Texas in the house. Let's go. All right. And feel free to just like us also. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for making it. We're excited. Let's give everybody else another 1 minute. Dallas in the house. Let's go. Awesome.
Shadows stretch, the red dirt hums. Horses gallop to the distant drums. Sweat drips down, but no one runs. This is life where the rhythm comes.
Thank you, everybody, for joining midday. Happy Friday. Let's go.
Feet on fire, we spin, we stay. Gainesville groove, it moves, it shines. Feel the pulse in these Texas vibes. Every step, every beat aligns.
Thank you, everybody.
Groove,
All right.
yours, it's mine.
Okay, let's get started, folks.
Drums ignite, the hearts they play.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to hang out with us during the midday on Friday. There are many things you can do. You decided to hang out with us. So, big thank you. So, today we have the pleasure of having with us Arlene Lloyd. She is the Economic Development Director of Gainesville, Texas, and we want to hear from her all the exciting things happening in Gainesville. And with us also, we have, let me just quickly introduce Femi and Shem on the call. Hi, Femi. And
Hi
I
guys.
Shem. All right, all right. Hi, Shem. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you for joining. And without wasting more time, I'm excited to have with us Arlene Lloyd. Hey, how are you, Arlene?
I'm great, and I love the Gainesville song, I have to say.
Love it. I knew you were going to like it, Arlene. I said, you know what, let me get some Gainesville groove on, for
I
you.
like it. I like it. Yeah,
Thank you so much for joining us on a short notice.
you're welcome.
And you and I spoke already. We talked about the exciting things happening in Gainesville, and we are investors in Gainesville. Also, we know a lot of things happening there already. And I said, there's no better person to bring on to our platform to tell us a little bit about all the exciting things in this community. And we decided to say, you know what, let's reach out to Alina and see if she can tell us a little bit more about why Gainesville. That's the $1 million question everybody wants to know. And it's okay. There are a lot of things we've seen out there. And we just realized, there's a lot of crazy development in a good way right now happening all over North Texas. The likes of
Yes.
Salina is just exploding, Shaman is exploding, Denison exploding. Now we have Gainesville exploding with all of the expansion of the highways and proximity to Oklahoma and everything. We said, you know what? Let's even speak to Arlene to give us some insight and tell us what exactly are we not seeing that you have seen. And the simple question is why Gainesville? So this is your show, Arlene.
All right. All right. Well, thank you very much. Well, if you come to my fair city, you are seeing a lot of construction. which can be annoying, but you are right. It is going to be fabulous. So we are right on I-35, which runs north and south of the United States. And it is being developed from a 2-lane to 4 lanes. So on each side. So it will be a major thoroughfare. It crosses US 82, which runs east and west across the southern part of the United States. And I just found out last week there's a quick trip, a QT,
Yeah.
On 82 and 35. That grosses the most sales of any of the QTs in that franchise. So it is a busy, busy corner. And just north of that is the Camp Howze Industrial Park, and that's named after a military camp that was here in the 40s in Gainesville. But we have 429 acres of shovel ready. So the utilities are there. There is not a building there yet. We are breaking ground in the spring on BNSF Railway. Will bring a rail line into that industrial park, so it will be rail served. Our first customer that's already bought property is a transloading facility, so we'll be right there on the rail. And then BNSF is going to pull 8,000 feet off so they can actually host one of their trains there while they're moving traffic back and forth. So we'll be a siding as well. So to get rail service out of north of the Fort Worth is the big yard for BNSF. And so to get rail service out of there is pretty exciting for us.
That is awesome.
So, we are north of the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. We are an hour from, I can get to the DFW airport in a little over an hour from here. So we're kind of getting out of all of that busy traffic and moving up a little farther north where you've got a little more room to breathe. So with that comes faster shipping from manufacturing to your market out of here, because you can either north on 35 and then east and west on 82. And then it's a little cheaper when you move out of the Metroplex. So we offer those two things. We are, and as you've been here, it's a pretty quaint community. We are a population of about 18,000. We grew 6% last year. So we are DFW area through Denton is kind of catching up with us. We are also, for fun, we are one of the largest EVAs for the wine industry. So we have 7 wineries here. We even have a company that does the Red River wine tours. So they'll take you to all the wineries, or as many as you can fit in a day. The Red River area, which is where we are on the Texas-Oklahoma border, we are my downtown office is 4 miles from the Red River in Oklahoma. So we are kind of the front porch to Texas when you're coming in from the north. The downtown is full. It's a historical downtown. It's beautiful. It's full. All the stores have either restaurants or retail stores in them. We are the county seat, so the beautiful old courthouse on the square that the stores revolve around in the middle of town. So we do concerts downtown.
I've heard about the Lake Texoma, some construction going on there. Like, can you shed more light into the development coming up there? I know there was Hard Rock Cafe coming around there.
The which one?
I think for Lake Texoma, there were some developments happening not too far from Gainesville.
Is it? I think that's closer, just to the east of us in Sherman.
Yes.
Yes. So we are. Sherman's a little larger than Gainesville. We kind of are sister cities. They're on 75 and we are on 35, and those parallel each other.
Got it.
we are big in oil and gas as well, and oil and gas technology specifically. So one of the recognized oil industry leaders, John Schmitz, is in our community, and his companies, which he has several of, and developing new technology for oil and gas as well. So
Interesting. What about the education system? I know we have North Central Texas College there also.
we do have a community college here, North Central Texas College, and this is their main campus. They do have 5 other campuses in smaller communities around here, but this is their main campus. So we are heavy into machining, CNC machining, manufacturing, welding. We have a really strong health department for training all the allied health programs as well. So yeah, it's a beautiful campus. We're a pretty patriotic community. So the Medal of Honor has a museum here, and we host the Medal of Honor recipients that come to Gainesville once a year and kind of honor them for their service. And they are the ones that have received the Medal of Honor. I think there's about 67 living recipients, and we will have several of them in Gainesville every year. So
that is amazing. That is amazing. And let me open the floor. I know a lot of us. Okay, somebody asked the question. I like that. I don't know the answer, but let me make it public. I know Mayo asked, how much oil and gas does Gainesville make a day, or a month, or a year?
Gainesville is not one of the major producers. I came from the oil and gas industry in West Texas, where 25% of all the oil and gas in the United States is produced. Gainesville is not not in production for oil and gas. So we manufacture equipment, and especially the electronics for the oil and gas. We are measuring the water. So oil and gas has the forced water, production water that is forced in the ground to get the oil up, and the gas as well. And that production technology is housed here, but used all over the United States for oil and gas. So the oil and gas, I wish I could remember how much oil is produced in West Texas, because Texas is 25% of all the oil and gas that's produced in the United States.
Yeah, interesting. And I know there's another question that came in. Said, beside BNSF, who else is coming to town?
We are preparing a site now, a building. They'll be moving in October and November, and that's JC Millwork. And that is, they do wood mill work, and they do beautiful auditoriums, theaters, offices. So it's very high-end fabrication for wood. And we're very excited to have them here. But they will be moving in October and November. So with the rail, as BNSF rail production comes here, then that's really hopefully a ticket for us to get more companies that are looking at transporting through rail. So we have a cement company who will be transloading as soon as the rail is finished. And other than that, the names of the companies that we're preparing proposals for are just project names and don't know the company name.
Got it. All right, folks, feel free to ask more questions. And another thing is, and I've seen the vibrant downtown. Can you tell us a little bit about what is driving the innovation around the downtown?
We have a lot of tourism, which is has really grown. We have actually hired a tourism director now, and one of that is the wine culture here. So there are 5 EVAs in the state of Texas. Each EVA produces a different kind of grape for the wine industry, and this Red River area is one of the EVAs, and that seems to get gotten really strong now. Those wineries are on beautiful locations. It is Gainesville's a beautiful area, especially coming from the oil and gas, kind of the desert part of Texas. It is beautiful, and each of those wineries is in a beautiful location. And so there's a lot of tourism there. We have a theater, a community theater as well, and then the smaller towns that support Gainesville around this our our system. Our school system, we do have high school. Our school system is set up a little differently. So all first and second graders go to one campus. Third, fourth, and fifth to another campus. Sixth, seventh, and eighth go to another campus, and then the high school is another campus. So instead of having the small neighborhood schools, we keep all the first and second graders together in one school and develop those talents with those kids.
Got it. Can you tell me about? I know there's on 1210. There's a beautiful lake, Moss Lake. Can you tell us about that? Tell us about Moss Lake. Yeah.
Moss Lake is it's about 7 miles from here. It is a community. There's a large population that live around that lake. It's a beautiful lake. It's also our water source. So Gainesville is blessed to have a strong water source. So we also own part of the water at Lake Texoma, which is probably 30 miles from here. We own part of that water. So as water gets to be a more precious commodity, Gainesville will always have a source of water. So Moss Lake has a lot of beautiful homes. It's got a lot of big developments around it as well. And it's a great little pleasure lake.
Thank you.
And Texoma is huge. So Texoma Lake is the border of Texas and Oklahoma, and it's a huge lake.
Got it. Thanks. And I know, there's a question around the proposed loop that was coming through 82. And I know there was a citizen meeting August 26th that just happened. And this is just for everybody, there was because Gainesville is expanding crazy. It's a good thing. So there's a proposal around Texas Department of Transportation. It's kind of proposed that probably there should be like a loop. It's still at the preliminary stage. You want to talk more about that?
It is. So the loop will relieve some of the traffic on 82 and 35. So truck traffic will go north. There is a very large truck stop on the north part of I-35, and then we'll continue on to the west and then tie back into 35. So it's to alleviate a lot of the truck traffic. We also we have an auction, a cattle auction house here in Gainesville, just north of Gainesville. So there's a lot of cattle traffic as well. So the loop is it's still proposed. It's a long way off, but as Gainesville grows, we're going to want to push some of that truck traffic because speed and delivery is money for trucking. So that traffic will be able to go north and then either take 35 north or 35 south.
Got it. Okay. Any other question, folks? Okay. Another question was, are you aware of any new construction potentially coming in soon, especially around residential? I know there are a couple of them already. So
a lot of residential. So there are 800 apartment complexes being built as we speak. There's also 1,500 houses on the drawing board in 2 different housing developments. I wish I could say how many houses a year they are finishing, but it's close to 300 houses are finishing every year. So these are brand new homes. Because of the interest rate, homes are a little smaller, footprint, so that they're more affordable homes. Most of the homes here are around $300,000, so they're pretty affordable. The apartments are the same. We are a little less expensive than the DFW area coming up to Gainesville. We have several large manufacturers here. Safran, if you fly overseas, there's an 80% chance you're flying on a seat made in Gainesville, Texas. So long haul seat manufacturer. roofing, the foam insulation that goes into roofing is manufactured here. Then the technology with the oil and gas industry is also manufactured and demonstrated here as well. So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, it is heavy. You don't think of it when you drive through the town. The
Yeah.
manufacturing is north and off, right off I-35. But we're 22% of our population works in manufacturing.
Interesting. Who is the highest employer of labor in Gainesville?
The who?
The highest employer of labor?
The highest employer is Safran, which is
Safran.
a French company that makes the seats. And actually, they're the largest manufacturing employer, and they're at 1,300. The
Wow.
largest employer is actually WinStar Casino.
Yeah.
So WinStar Casino is 5 miles north of here. It's actually in Oklahoma, but they have over 3,000 employees, and it runs 24/7, 365. So there's a lot of jobs at WinStar Casino.
Interesting. And I know there's a follow-up question around the school system. Given the unique setup, it's not your typical ISD setup. How does this impact your property tax and the local level allocation of those taxes, if there's any impact at all?
It doesn't change the level of the tax, and gosh, I wish I could tell you. I have just been here a month right now, so I can't. I wish I could tell you the tax rate for the school system, but it doesn't change it. It's the same amount of kids that are attending school. It's just in different locations, so you can kind of focus on just that grade level of kids, and not have a school that's got like K through 6 in it. So it's
Excellent.
focused on getting the reading and writing and math for those levels up to speed.
Thank you. Any other question, folks? And one of the things I told Aline was that we'll make sure our segment is first, then I can release her. She's crazy busy. She was gracious to say, you know what, I will honor you guys and just come and talk to your community. Thank you so much, Aline.
I always want to talk about Gainesville. Thank you very much. Thanks for the invitation. I appreciate it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate
Bye-bye.
it. Bye-bye. All right, thank you, everybody. So, what the way we structured it is going to be in two ways. The first one is we bring our guests. It's our community event. We'll be out of here in the next 30 minutes. The second part is we'll talk about, it's an education event. We just talk about the city a little bit, give you some basic knowledge in the next 30 minutes. You feel more empowered about knowing what exactly is all this talk about land investment. Land can be one of those areas that is a little bit tricky, really, to be honest, because if you don't know about it, it can be cumbersome. So the next few minutes, we'll just talk a little bit, and you know what? We would also win some prizes. But before we get into it, let me add Shem and Femi, my partners, and let's talk a little bit. And let's see if you guys have some questions. Again, Ellen was gracious to honor our call to join. Hey, Femi, Shem, how are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Excellent. Thank you all for joining and organizing this. And one of the things we want to do, Tim, is in the next few minutes, a lot of you have asked me a question about the Gainesville project and all that. We'll talk about that in a second. The phase one of our Gainesville project is done. All our folks are already, the tracks are taken. Phase two is actually on right now. We just finalized the deal, so that's operational also. But what we like to do is to educate our community, get out of here and be a little bit more knowledgeable about what it takes to own a land. Even if you're a landowner, I guarantee you, you will learn one or two things today. I guarantee you. If you don't, I'll buy you lunch, okay? Cheap lunch maybe, but I'll get you something. But the point is that there's so much to learn. Gosh, you know, within us, Shem, myself, Femi, and all our partners, our banking partners, our title companies, our surveyors, there's always something new around land all the time. The beautiful thing is, whatever your investment vehicles are, amazing, keep it up. Land is also a solid tool you can also leverage as part of your investment strategy for sure. And many times, a lot of people ask me, what's my take? Everybody's different. If you get land in the good location, backed with data, for us, our model is simple. We make sure we do our research, due diligence. It's strictly data. It's a data business. That's really what it is. It's strictly data. Then we go the extra mile. We bring the leadership of those locations also, not just any one of them. We bring the city managers. We bring the economic development team, their community development team, their planning and zoning. So we take a lot of time to really understand the data that the city is seeing that we are not seeing. Why is your land or your location a good spot to bring our investors? That's always a question for us. And every one of our projects so far with data has been spot on. And my Bonham guys on the call, they can testify. Amazing. Bonham has changed suddenly. Even we can't buy in bulk again there because it's just very expensive. And all of this happened within a year. So it's just crazy. The same thing on the Grove right now because of the infrastructure expansion there. That is also changed. So every city is changing in North Texas. So for all of us, the key is, I know it's easy to second guess, but you just wake up and realize the same city you think about your city right now. If you're in North Texas, if you are invested in that same city 10 years ago, just think for a second how much a change that could have been. It is crazy, but that's just the reality. Strictly data, no sentiment. We have zero sentiment in this business. It's strictly data. So that's what we do. So let me quickly join. We have the next 10 minutes, but it's going to be very impactful, I guarantee you. So let's quickly go through a few things. The education side for our community. A lot of people have asked us a lot, and I would kind of drive it. Then in between topics that I feel some of our team would be better served, I'll bring Femi or Shem to talk about it. So if you don't mind, for my community, they know how we do this. If you don't mind, can we all join this thing called Kahoot? So just put this pin, and I'll share the pin with you real quick, and you also have an opportunity to win a prize. The first 3 winners in the game, when we are done, they get $50 gift card immediately after this call. Make sure you give me your real name though, so we can honor that gift card immediately. But can we join the Kahoot real quick? If you don't mind, just quickly join that Kahoot real quick, everybody. Just join the Kahoot real quick. I'll wait for a second, then we'll just get started. But it will be very solid knowledge. What we do best here is we educate our community, and that's what we want to do. Just give you some good information that can make you very, very relevant, and you will be more informed when you make decisions. All right, let's see. Let me get a few people joined real quick. I have a few of you. Let's get it to 20 of us, then we just get started real quick. The pin is 848116 kahoot.it. Just quickly go to kahoot.it and you can join. But let's get started. And while that is running on the background, Aline mentioned a lot of things about Gainesville already. We've done our research. It's a no-brainer. Intense manufacturing, intense population growth, about 1,000 homes, about 700, another 1,000 apartments, 1,500 homes. So it's just, the data point is just crazy. It's very compelling, and it's very close to Denton. Upper North from Salina now, we're talking of further down, I think it's really one of the main next big cities out there that is still much more affordable now. And that will change. Definitely, it's going to change. If I'm to make a guess, maybe 2 years from now, it will be a different ball game. That's just the reality of it. Major employers there. If you notice, Aline mentioned Safran Seat. This Safran Seat, they are the makers of most of the seats we use in the airline industry. Boeing, Airbus, a lot of all these big guys. We have Duraline and GF Industrial. So they are huge in industrial also. So they want the community to also work within the vicinity of the city itself. Now, here's the other kicker though. It's also about 35 miles to Sherman, which is another different monster. For those of us that are in that ecosystem recently, you can agree with me that Sherman is a different ball game entirely right now. Then it's very close to Windstar, which is the casino in Oklahoma. Pretty straightforward. All right, let's do some quick one. Who is the major employer in Gainesville? I think I have my top 3 already. Let's see, quick one. Who is the major employer in Gainesville? Just get real quick. Yeah, really good. We'll talk about some basic terms in, land. Okay, saffron. Say, yep, that's it. It's a huge environment that has within 60-mile radius population of 4 million within Cook County. The college there is North Central Texas College. The unemployment rate is pretty low there also. All right, which college is located in Gainesville? Let's see if you were paying attention a little bit. Which college is located in Gainesville? All right, let's see. Which college is in Gainesville? Stanford, Harvard, Yale, North Central Texas. I think it's quite obvious. All right, Miriam, thank you. I can see Olawale and Skirat. Feel free, the pin is 848116. All right, let's go. All right, cool. A lot of infrastructure there. Interstate I-35 is there. Huge 82, just like Aline stated. There's real connectivity with BNSF. Huge gigabyte broadband expansion is also there right now. Proximity to DFW, about 60 miles. Huge growth corridor with Sherman, borders Oklahoma. So the reality is that for most people that are leaving other people and moving to other location, guess where the bus stop is? Gainesville. So if you live in Salina, Gunter, Frisco, you're living going up north, Denton, you're moving, right? And guess where you cannot pass? After Gainesville, you're in Oklahoma. So we are the final bus stop. That's the reality of it. So it's an amazing, opportunity right now for anyone that really understand what the data point is saying. Great business incentives are provided within the environment. A lot of legislation passed in the Texas legislation body recently around cutting off the bottlenecks around regulation, enhanced tax credits. So a lot of tax credits are given to investors that come to cities like this. As a matter of fact, the city manager, Barry Suleiman, he told us specifically that within 30 days, in some cases, people get approvals. So, very business friendly for investors, which is great. All right, let's take another quick one. What is the main focus of Semiconductor Innovation Funding? The answer is there already. What is the main focus for Texas Semiconductor Innovation Funding? Absolutely, innovation. All right. What is the main benefit of opportunity zones? Opportunity zones. So you hear that word a lot, opportunity zones, when you're doing research. What is the main purpose of opportunity zones? Tax incentives. So that's the goal. A lot of tax incentives around opportunity zones in general. So that's a big one out there too. All right. Vibrant local charm and businesses will scan through this. Ellen already mentioned this a lot. So a lot of investment, a lot of amazing. If you have time, sometime, drive past Gainesville. It's an amazing city, really. No cap, a really good city. 0% income tax, standard Texas, sales tax, property tax is quite reasonable too. Quality of life, they have a good zoo there, historic downtown, outdoor reservation. If you notice, we talked about one of the prime lake there, Moss Lake, and it's amazing lake, beautiful lake. And spoiler alert, our new project, Gainesville Phase 2, just look out, it's going to be very close to the lake. So we'll give you more information about that later. Somebody asked the question also, what is the typical price range of properties in Gainesville? It depends on how many acres you buy. If you buy 1 acre in Gainesville now, and you can check this, it's open information. If you just buy 1 acre in Gainesville, you will see them go as high as 70,000 upward for 1 acre. As you increase the acreages, it might be cheaper, but it's quite expensive already, even as a city on its own right now. So Now, for us, of course, because you're buying in bulk, most of our projects minimum we sell is 12 acres. And the reason is because in the state of Texas, you qualify for agric exemption when you buy over 11 acres, I believe. So that means your tax liability goes down. You're not going to pay a lot of taxes. So what you would have paid, $2,000 a year, your tax might be $80 or $100 a year, which is great. And we have farmers that work with us. They will take care of maintaining the farm for you. We'll make sure you get your agric exemption process going. So we guide you all through that process end to end. So that's not a big deal at all. So the price for most of our projects right now in Gainesville, they would be within the range of 18,000 to 19,000 at the moment per acre. So which is still amazing because for such deals now in Gainesville, they go for, if you get a huge acre, it's going to be over 25,000 anyway. So you still get it great at the moment. So, all right, quick one. Which lake is near Gainesville? There was a lake she talked about that is near Gainesville. All right, we have, okay, one answer already. Excellent, Lake Texoma, perfect. And I'll just scan through this. This is just talking about the market she talked about already. Shovel-ready development sites. She mentioned also a lot of expansion. This is in North Texas mega region growth. And if you notice, we have Sherman, Denison, Gainesville. They are all within the same axis. And there is a huge $6 billion investment in Margaritaville Resort at Lake Texoma. So within Lake Texoma, 30 miles away, $6 billion. Up north within Sherman, another $50 billion for the semiconductor investment. So you can see already within that region, it's a huge ton of investment within that community right now as we speak. All right. A lot of investment opportunity, like we said, it's a good place to position yourself to even to start a business, I think, really, for people that want to get into FedEx, franchises. I think it's a good place to kind of position yourself personally. So yeah, that's the story around it. Reach out to us 214-649-8495, or you can use info@landzeo.com. All right, the next segment is just, hey, this is just educational for us. That's what we do best here. And I would just jump into some basic terms that are nice to know about land, and I think will be useful to you in terms of knowledge and in terms of making decisions too. And you can ask the right questions at the end of the day. So why does land really matter? I think it's a no-brainer. We all can agree. The last we checked, the maker is not creating more land, right? It's still going to be there. It's always scarce. It appreciates in value, which is great. It's good for our diversification of our portfolio right now. This is an era where a lot of us are worried about where can we invest. Everybody's troubled, quite a lot of uncertainty back and forth. But land remains one of the few asset class I've seen. There might be others, I don't know, that have just held its ground, edges against inflation most of the time, historically. So makes it a good addition to your portfolio for sure. The other thing is that appreciation has been 3 to 5, depends on the location. For North Texas, for example, it's been geometric, and it's strictly because of data. For example, some of you that live in Salina, you're on the call. If you remember Salina 10 years ago, I can guarantee you would have bought 20 acres of land 10 years ago in Salina, Texas for probably $200,000. I know Anna, Texas then was about $10,000 an acre. Today in Anna is about 150. Salina is about 300 grand an acre. Now, the question is what happened? It was not magic. What happened is strictly data. Development came there backed with data though. Sometimes we think development just happened. No. It's strictly data. And you know what? They're open information. They are public information. For us, because that's our business, we go out to look for those data. That's just the only difference. Anywhere that's going to develop, we already have the data. It's there. It's public information on the public website, on the city council meeting minutes. You can see those information on the legislation passed. We can find it. It's just that we took time to consolidate it and say, okay, there's a data that supports this assertion. Let me give an example. What if I told you the largest man-made lake in Texas in 30 years is just 1 hour from most of us? If you live in North Texas, about 1 hour from you. Boisdarc Lake. Google it. Boisdarc. Are you going to say, wait a minute, are you serious? What the heck is that, right? I get it. But the point is that it's strictly data. Okay. What about if I told you, if you live in McKinney, Frisco, anywhere, if I told you that, well, Shaman is no longer Shaman. Shaman is going to be like a Round Rock version if you go to Austin. Why? $50 billion investment is coming there within 3-4 years. 50 B. That's a lot of investment. So the economic director of Shaman, he and I were communicating, and I reached out and I asked, hey, we have full of investors that want to do some business. You know what he told me? Nice guy, respectfully said, right now in Shaman, the minimum investment is $50 million, and you have to show a payroll of $50,000 minimum, right? So now, the same city that you thought was just a regular city, everything has changed within the span of 6 years. Everything just changed, right? So it's strictly data, nothing, no sentiment around it. Most of the banks we work with, we have quite a number of banks that are partners with us with business. Their down payment for most of their project is within 15 to 25% down payment for land. Interest rate for land is not like your home. It's always a little bit higher. So you might have it as maybe 6 point something to maybe 9 range, depends on your credit. So that's been the historic trend we've seen. Key players in land transaction, land specialists, licensed surveyors, attorneys, lenders, those will be like your big players out there. Why do we need surveys? Again, this is just giving you foundation knowledge. Some of you may not know, I'm actually a land surveyor by training for first degree. So, when we want to deal with boundary issues or disputes, you want to make sure you have a survey. So most of our partners, you will know that when we do business, we emphasize, okay, you have to see your survey. That is the big piece of the puzzle, because without the survey, you could get into legal issues later down the road. Then, of course, we want to see your acreage verification, easements identification. Hey, Brashem, Femi, you want to say 1 or 2 things about the need of making sure we have surveys? Again, this is just the boot camp education for our community. Let's see if you guys want to say 1 or 2 things around survey. What do you all think?
I'm going to chime in. The main thing, key factor of the survey, first of all, is to define what kind of land you are buying. It has the boundaries, it has the legal descriptions, it has some encumbrances that might affect if there is anything like pipelines. It tells you, defines you if there is some easements, and above all, the surveyor stands by the survey to ascertain that if there's a problem down on the way, the survey is able to go and fix the problem. But the main thing, it allows you, even if you want to do some development, now you have a layout of what you bought. You have a layout of the dimensions. You have a layout of the load frontage. And then it gives you overall, like whatever you need to do, you can be able to align it and divide it the way you want, because there's the acreages, there's the dimensions that will guide you. And most lenders won't even do anything, or title cannot proceed without that. That's kind of the key main factor of the digital asset.
Brashem, let's give one example. At least we have the blood and the sweat equity to talk about this now. So what about, you get to a land and you realize there's a borderline agreement. How do you navigate something like that? So, we had a couple of cases in the past. So what do you do in such a case? The last time they did the survey was probably in the 50s. So nobody has done surveys for over four decades. And suddenly you want to buy a land there. What would be your approach?
So in this approach, what is going to happen if there is a borderline? You find this thing has been grandfathered in, and usually you find they used to use, like, I know all of you come from Africa, where you might have some monument. There's somebody who say that stone is where the boundary is. Then you find the fence is outside. So the survey will go, what they will do, it will be able to go and then divine where really the boundary is supposed to be. Then it will go to the neighbors. It will talk to the neighbors. It will have it documented. And then above all, that will be included in your survey. In that it might even end up where people need to sign in if somebody's passed on or something has happened, somebody has to sign, so that will come with your surveyor so that you are protected and the boundaries known, and going forward that there will be no conflict. But from there, things now will be said because this survey was too old. That's why all those happened.
Thank you, Brasha. Femi, what do you think about the need to make sure we have good road frontage? Because for us, one of our core items is making sure we have enough road frontage for our community so that when they decide to develop their own land or investment, they can also have enough space. So what's your take, Femi?
Yeah. So, and and that's the reason why we work with one of the best surveyors in that area. Road frontage. When you want to build in the future, you want to have enough space for maybe probably the government, utilities, and for your own. Like when you see your front house and the space between your house and the road, right? So we look for land that have enough space that once our clients, our buyers in the future want to buy, you have enough road frontage to build whatever you want to build. If you want to build a house, if you want to build a neighborhood, you can divide your neighborhood, you can subdivide your neighborhood, and you can have enough space for each person that is building any property to have the attachment to the roads that exist or the road that will be created. And that's the reason why we do a lot of our own work to make sure our clients don't have to go through things in the future that will make them pay more money to expand, maybe lose land when they are building in the future. That's why we look for land that already have those innate proper features in them. So we save you a lot of money in the future.
Thank you, Femi. Awesome. Thank you, sir. All right. It's a big deal, and I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, really, for us, it's a lot of layers of oversight and due diligence that we put into the craft. Amazing load of work to make sure, one, we're thinking long term. Two, we're also immediately thinking to say, you have to have value. The land must have immediate value to you, and it's easily sellable. Sometimes we go see land, yes, that's our business. So we can easily look and say, no. You might see a land that the price looks, rule number one, if it looks too good to be true, it's probably a reason that it looks too good to be true. And trust us, we have gone through the same cycle a lot. We look at some deals, oh Lord, it looks so good. Then Shem would just say, hey, dude, not too fast. It's on a flood zone. Hey, not too fast. It's going through a major highway cable. Hey, not too fast. This could be a place that there would be future construction. So there's a lot of due diligence we have to do. Now, even with that doesn't mean anything's automatic, but at least on your side, make sure you do your part, right? Okay. So let's quickly jump back in real quick. Thank you, Femi and Shem. And again, this is our education segment. A lot of people have pinged us and said, hey, can you guys tell us more about land, educate us? So we want to make sure at least once in a quarter, we'll bring some leadership. Then we also educate our community a little bit about land. And I think at the moment we have some little bragging right based on working over, close to 10 deals already. So we can tell you a few things that might be useful to you when you make your decision too. All right, so let's quickly jump in again. All right, I thought I was sharing my screen and I realized this has been static for a while. So let me get back to this screen.
Right. Akeem, can I say something while you're doing
yes,
that?
Please. Yes.
I know many people are so enlightened, they might understand what we mean by road frontage. Road frontage technically means where does your land touch the main county road or FM road? That is the main. That's what we refer by the like the road frontage. And then another thing that you should understand, sometimes the best way as a surveyor, when they look at it, there will be a time they will do like a road strip. You see, you have a very nice land, so the surveyor determined the minimum load strip needed. Then they can give you that load strip. That means that even though you might not have all that big road frontage, you have maybe a 60-foot load strip that gives you access, and that is they work with the commission. They know that this is the required load size, which works well.
Thank you, Brashem. Thank you. All right. We have 10 minutes, so I'll just quickly run through this real quick. Some types of easement, if you notice, Shem mentioned earlier on, their utility easement is just a way in which you make provision for utilities in your land. There's access easements, mostly road easements. One of our projects also, there's a private road, there's an easement. So in the survey, we have to factor that in. There's conservation easement. That's a different monster entirely for people that want to preserve natural features in the future. But those are things that we also do our due diligence all the time before we even proceed with it. I'll skip some of the quiz. I think we have obvious winners already. We have just 3 people that joined. So my winners are going to be Miriam and Olawale for sure. But let's keep going real quick. Why does it matter, the road frontage? If you notice, we mentioned earlier on, when you have good road frontage, your property becomes premium in terms of value, because people can look at it and say, okay, I want to buy this land from you because I have enough access to your land and I can divide it easily. So it's a big deal. All right. So that's one of the big value for us, to make sure that our community, we make sure you have good road frontage also. Platting, like most of you, some of you are builders, and some of our clients, we have a couple of clients that are builders that buy with us a lot. So we do platting. Of course, when you do your platting, you have to go through the city, the county. It's a lot of process around approval, and it will kind of, guide you on knowing where your boundaries are, the dimension, the street layout, the utility layout, just the way things will look in general. All right, I'll skip the quiz again. How to read and analyze plat. Of course, you want to see your property, check the restriction, understand your surrounding, verify the status. And many land, there's different restriction around. I'll get into zoning in a bit, but you will make sure you check the subdivision regulation of the county you're working on and the city, and all the information would be there around the federal laws, the state, county, municipal code, HOA covenant. Most of our land, they are non-HOA, so you will not worry about HOA for virtually all our property so far. Zoning is a big one. One of the questions you ask is, hey, is this zone? Most of our assets will be unzoned at the moment, so which is good. Over time, if they decide to do anything, but in general, there'll be mixed use or residential. Brashem, you want to say 1 or 2 things around this zoning real quick?
Yeah, because most of the time you find that you're buying large, tracts of land. The county, they always leave it very much unzoned. But later on, if somebody buys less 10 acres, he needs to make a subdivision. Then they have to go and divide that and make it a subdivision. Then they have to go through the developmental review committee and have it platted the way they want. Then at that point, that land will be specified for that specific zoning. They kind of leave it like that because most of these, they're outside the city limit, whereby they are not within the city ordinances that might require them to be zoned in a particular way. So, but when the land is very much unzoned, where if somebody buys, they have to take all the steps to put it where what they want it to be. That's why you see it very much, it will be unzoned.
Thank you. And because it's unzoned does not mean I'll just wake up and just do anything. You still go through the city, the approval process, right? Before you do any construction in general. So that's standard for anything, right? But the good thing is that you have more flexibility to do a lot of things, which is pretty good. So, I mean, in our case, yeah, go ahead, Femi.
And also, because it's unzoned, the city will still have some restrictions. Like because it's unzoned doesn't mean you can go and build an RV park on there.
Yeah.
or you can build whatever you want. They still have restrictions because they believe that that city is still going to be a big city, right?
Yeah.
And they protect the integrity of that city. So you cannot when you're buying the land, you still see that there's still some restrictions on what you can do on it, just to protect your investment.
Thank you, bro. Yep, that's a great point, sir. All right, I'll skip the quiz again. All right. How does zoning affect our investment? Of course, you want to know what the current zone is, and you want to know what is the potential for future zoning. Now, there are places we know already. Most of our places we know would be likely residential based on the way the environment is laid out, right? For some might be mixed uses, but we try to make sure the profile of investment we get can serve both. It will have a lot of road frontage, a lot of good county roads, FM road, just to give you good access in general. And it makes your asset much more appealing, which is good. Due diligence, we all can agree it's important for all our projects. Title, we do title search, we do environmental, phase one study for our assets. And that gives us peace of mind, even though we know most of these assets, they are good soil because crops are planted there already. Livestock are, eating there. So we know they are good, but we still do our due diligence to make sure we have, those environmental inspection done in general. So financing option, like we said earlier on, most of the bank we use would give you, 15 to 25% down payment range. Then the terms would be within 10 years to 20 years. That's what we've seen. And yeah, that's been the trend line out there. Common pitfall we should avoid, of course, don't mess with survey. Always get your survey. Don't ignore easement. If there's a road easement and anything borderline, make sure you ask the right question. For us, we do all those due diligence ahead of time. Overlooking zoning, you can't just buy a land and just assume you can build a factory there, right? Because you have to know, can I build, a factory there? Is it industrially zoned, right? So those are things you still need to get approval in general. So let's see. Some key terminologies I'll just jump through, raw land, we all know what that is already. Developed land, if it has all the utilities laid out, of course they'll be more expensive. But raw land will just be, we sell a lot of raw land. And the nice thing, the ones we buy, they have proximity to, to water and electricity. Most of the ones we have, electricity is already in those properties, which is good. Um, yes. Zoning, we talked about zoning already. Due diligence, we all know that already. Financing option, I think we mentioned that also. Most our business is strictly we use bank. Occasionally, we have clients that would pay with cash, but everything we do goes through the banking system. Some questions we get is that, can I just, pay you without? We don't do that. You have to still go through a title company that would, track just because of money laundering. So the answer is always we can't collect your money, right? You have to go through a title or a bank. So because of money laundering law, so we just can't do that. Property right and restriction, again, things like easement, encroachment, the survey would help us to identify those gaps, and we would have identified it ahead of time ourselves. Development potential, a lot of folks in our community, believe it or not, we've had about almost 6 developers work with us buying land in the same place we buy, so that in the future, one of our exit strategies is always, we are doing land banking, yes, but also as the city grow and develop, we hope when our development team comes to you, wink at you and say, if the price is fair enough, then why not? And we can work out arrangement with those folks too, at that point when they are building. So why not? Market valuation, I think it's a no-brainer. Let me just wrap up with this. So you all can see the way we look at the market tax implication. Your tax liability is minimal to nothing, to be honest. I'll give an example. Some of our assets of 100 acres for your tax liability for the year might be $200 for a 100-acre land. Now, remember, because of the agri exemption, it will make your tax low. So that's the value of making sure we put it on ag exemption, and we get farmers that lease the land, and which is great for us. Exit strategy, again, most people would hold for a while. Some of us will see it as a retirement strategy to kind of hold it for a while. Then when you're ready to flip, you flip. And if developers want to come in or buy from you, if the price makes sense, we move. If you want to build yourself, some of our folks want to build themselves, sell a piece and build, why not? Most of our cities are good cities we know you can live. They are very good choice prime cities. So we are confident about that. There's no city we bought any investment, we cannot live there. There's none, we feel good, we can live there, yeah, so they are pretty good cities, really. So that's the summary. Our winners for today. Let's give all right, top place it is. But let's see the second place. Let's go. $50 gift card. And Rian, $50 gift card. Please kindly send me a quick email text, and I will just so that I can, and your email so we can send that to you. But that's really it. Some of you asked me also. Let's take some of your questions and we'll be out of here, folks. All right, let's take some of your questions. Let's see. This is your time, your question and answer. Let's take some of your questions. Feel free to type and let me just put the questions up there. Let's go. Let's quickly take one or two questions real quick. Questions? Any questions around this? I know it's a lot we talked about and covered. Do you have questions? Anything we can address real quick before we let you all go? Any questions? Please, if you don't mind, like us, click the like button so that more people can see us. And we're excited. And one thing I'll tell you is also, let me share with you also that you can just have an idea of what we see. For some of us that might be thinking, okay, what exactly, how do we look at these things? Let me just show you the way we typically look at this. Of course, like anything else, we do our due diligence like you. So you can go to this site, right? Either realtor.com. A lot of you will go to maybe Zillow, any of your comfortable sites, right? We use this a lot just because it's pretty good. And you can filter and check for land, for example. And you'll be surprised in the same Gainesville we just talked about right now. You'll see, you can see here 12 acres, 300,000, 330,000. You can see, so these are let's filter for, for a few acres only. So let's say we want to go to 1 to 5 acres for an example. So you can see here, they're already going 1 acre. Yeah, depends on how close the acre is, right? If it's close to a lake, then it'll be more expensive naturally, right? If it's close to 35. So you can see it's already going quite high, even right now. You can tell this is a farm to market road. So you can tell this is why it's much more expensive here. So you can see 3 acres already going for about 300 grand here already. But that's the way we look at it, and you can do the same thing. Check it out. So it's already quite an expensive town, to be honest, as we speak. So, now another thing, remember, the reason we buy more than 10 is we don't want you to be paying tax in the future, and you can have access to good prime land. All right, thank you so much, Brian Brashem, parting words, and Femi, then we're out of here.
Oh, thanks a lot for having us, and thank you for being a team. And we're here for you. We are a team. And if any question, please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Femi.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here. I hope everyone learned a lot here, and I hope everyone is over here is motivated to move forward. And also, what Akin just showed, it's a 1 acre, and one of the reasons when you said we go in bulk, that 1 acre might be 100,000, might be 80,000. You get way below the market level already. You already have equity once you're going into the deal. So, and that is, I mean, that is next to none. You already have equity. So, I mean, it's an amazing opportunity we have here. And I hope, I mean, based on the information you guys have, you get motivated. Yeah. Have a good afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Femi. All right. Thank you, everybody. It's been a honor and delight. Let's keep doing great things. And let's just keep building legacy one person at a time. There's never been a time to leverage than now. In the midst of chaos comes opportunity. I've never seen a time as good as this personally to say, you know what, chaos is actually good. I'm not saying I want chaos, but when there's chaos, it's pretty good too to take advantage of chaos. So I think we are in an era of that we can take advantage of, instability to leverage it for yourself. That's the way I look at it right now. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the day, and happy weekend. Talk soon, everybody.
Thank you.
And just reach out to us, info@landzeo.com, 214-649-8495, and more to come. Thank you. Bye.
Feet on fire, we spin, we stay. Gainesville groove, it moves, it shines. Feel the pulse in these Texas vibes. Every step